Imagine spending your whole life working for one dream, only to have that dream become the reason you die. That's exactly what happened to Thomas and Jackie Hawks. For years, the Hawks family lived the kind of life most people only talked about. They wasn't rich celebrities or lottery winners. Thomas had worked hard his entire life. And when he finally retired, him and his beautiful wife Jackie bought a beautiful 55-foot yacht, and they called it the Well-Deserved. And the name fit because after decades of working, they felt like they deserved it. For years, they settled up and down California's coast, waking up every morning to sounds of waves instead of alarm clocks. See, this wasn't just a boat, it was their home. And then one day, everything changed. Their family had just welcomed in a brand new grandchild, and suddenly, being out on the ocean didn't matter as much anymore because they wanted to be grandparents. So they made a decision that would unknowingly seal their fate. They put the yacht up for sale. And when you're selling something for hundreds of thousands of dollars, you can expect strangers to call you. Most of the calls went nowhere until one young man sounded serious, and his name was Skylar deleon. On the phone, he seemed so polite, respectful, and excited. He told them that he loved the yacht and that he wanted to buy it. Nothing about the conversation raised a red flag. And then came the first meeting. And here's what made Skylar so convincing. He didn't show up looking like a dangerous criminal. He showed up with his wife and even brought along his little daughter. So, to Thomas and Jackie, he looked exactly like what he claimed to be, a young husband trying to buy the family's dream boat. Now, looking back, investigators believe that first impression was one of the most important parts of the plan. See, what Skylar was doing was he was building trust between the Hawks family and himself. Because if someone willingly brings you their wife and little girl, why would they ever think to hurt you? Over the next few days, they continued to talk about the sale. The price was around $435,000. Everything seemed to be moving towards a normal closing. But then Skylar made one last request. He said, before I hand over that kind of money, I'd like one final trip out on the water just to make sure everything works. And honestly, that's a pretty normal request when you're buying a yacht. So Thomas agreed and his wife Jackie agreed. But neither one of them knew that once they untied the ropes from the dock that morning, they would never return. As they pulled away from Newport Beach that morning, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. The water was calm, the engines hummed as the well-preserved cut through the Pacific. Thomas Hawks had made this trip many times before. He knew the waters. To him, this just wasn't another boat ride. It was the final step before closing the sale. And Jackie was there too. She was just on the boat chilling, thinking about going to Arizona and her new grandchild. Also on board was 4 people they believed they could trust: Skylar deleon and 3 other men that Skylar had